Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time to have a look at Crest, a game where you play as a god who writes commandments in order to influence your people. So it's quite a unique concept and I feel as though the game is now at a stage where it shows off its true character, and I'm quite intrigued what the game will be once it's fully released. But in order to be able to explain you more of this, let's go ahead and dive into a new game. Here we go, here we are in the world of Crest. I'm actually quite intrigued by the graphics, I do enjoy them quite a bit. We have antelopes, we have lions, we have mountains, forests, savanna, deserts, jungles, etc, etc. In the beginning we are starting with this little tribe village and we have 4 people at the moment, so each of these houses is associated with one person, or you kind of have to think of them as units for your city. Also, I just clicked on the city. Here you actually have a few icons telling you what's up with your city. So everything here at the bottom is just a status. So we can see, for instance, if our people are producing babies, how much food we have, how old the average person is, how much metal production, wealth, etc, etc. On the top we have a needs button, a faith button, and also a doctrine button. At the moment we're not following a doctrine because that has to kind of develop over time. If we click on the city's needs button, we can see what we are actually doing. So we started off neutral, of course, and also we can see in red what the needs are. So at the moment we need to work towards food and offspring maybe. That's the most logical thing to do in the beginning. Good, with that out of the way, let's have a look at how to actually influence those people. You can click them in order to get a status report on how they are and what they're doing, how many babies they have, etc. But you cannot influence those guys directly. What we have to do is write commandments. So let's hit the V button, or we can also click this icon right there in order to write a commandment. At the beginning we don't have too many icons, but over time we are gonna unlock quite a few more. A commandment consists out of 3 stages. The first stage is who is doing the command, who is following it. And then the second stage is the nature of the command. So is it production, is it a migration command, is it a destruction command? And then in the end, of course, the target. So in the beginning, I do want to write several commands. I want to make sure that we are producing babies and food. So let's hover over these icons, and once we actually see an icon that is related to a certain person, it will be highlighted. So for instance, we can see all of our people at the moment live in the savannah. So clicking this icon and putting it right here will be associated with each of these people. Now we could say followers living in the savannah should produce some food right there. And you can see it's actually written out in a sentence if you enable this in the options. We then can proclaim the commandment, and hitting the C button or clicking this icon right here, we can see all of our commandments. We can also hover over them in order to see the commandment written out as a sentence, and we can also see how many people are following this commandment at the moment. We can also open up this tab right here, and there will be the associations with this commandment, which are going to develop over time. Associations are kind of a variation of your commandment, and the people will either follow the original commandment or an association of it. If you don't like an association because it screws with your plan, you can delete it, but the city will lose faith. Faith is another thing that I haven't tested out too much yet, but the current global faith at the moment is not too shabby, I have to say. We can screw it up majorly, of course, writing silly commandments. Another thing you need to be aware of is that you cannot delete a commandment. If people don't follow the commandment or have different types of associations with it the entire time, it's gonna deplenish over time, but you cannot get rid of it. So be sure it's really the commandment you want. Good, with that out of the way, let's also make sure we are producing babies. So we could, for instance, say people who have food should go ahead and produce babies. So followers who have food produce babies. Yes, that sounds about right. So now we have 2 commandments in place. One thing I want to note right away is that hopefully this interface is going to change a lot. I need this to be much more overviewish. It would be good to have a larger window or an expandable window with a much smaller GUI, so you can, see the entire list of commandments just on a small page and interact with it. Anyways, let's unpause the game hitting the spacebar and let's see what our people are doing. At the moment, they're just walking around, not sure what they're going for. Let's actually click one. We're reproducing. Okay, so they are making babies and they are actually doing the dance. The baby making dance. So at the moment, everyone is kind of following the baby making command because we do have food. You know, we start with a little bit of food and therefore they're doing that. Later on, we can even specify a commandment. So for instance, we could say people who are overfed produce babies. So they will take care of the food first and then the babies. At the moment, we produce the offspring, so this is not a perfect circle anymore. It moved a little bit over in this web. I actually really like the idea of this web. That must have been crazy to program. Okay, now we can see at the moment our people are heading home because they, you know, worked in the baby reproducing department. So let's see what they're doing next because we are definitely gonna need some food very soonish. Well, actually, we're doing still fine at the moment. Let's also hit up the commandments tab and see what we will discover next. Nothing started to be researched in quotes yet, so these are kind of new words that you can add to your commandments dictionary. And over time, you know, depending on certain events, we will unlock those guys. Those are going to be important to specify our commandments, otherwise everything is going to get out of control. You know, eventually you will fail anyway. This is the goal of the game, is just to keep everything going for as long as possible, and eventually nature is gonna catch up with you. Okay, at the moment everyone is resting their tired body. Let's maybe speed things up a bit until they come out. Okay, now you can actually see if they have a speech bubble like this with a blue edge, then they are actually doing something. They're telling you what they are doing at the moment. So he's producing a baby. Since we still have a lot of food, I guess that's all right. Though what we could add as a commandment is maybe people who have babies also produce food. Do we have the farming button already? I think I'm gonna add an additional option, so we are definitely producing food. I'm kind of in fear that we're producing too many babies at the moment. Followers living in the savannah farm for food as well. I'm gonna add that commandment. There we go. Oh, look at that. There's actually a crib with a little baby. I didn't even notice. So if we click a follower, we can see they can have 3 babies. They can take care of them. And they, of course, also have an age. So people will die. Okay, this one right here, I think is a general recommendation or something along these lines with the pink surrounding. If it is a red surrounding, then that would be an association. But let's wait until an association pops up. Okay, there we go. Now we have a couple of new things going on. People will be producing food and also farms right here. This guy is going to produce food and farm. He's kind of following both commandments at the moment. He's a good boy. Okay, so far so good. Now what are you doing? We are exploring the world. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe we're gonna leave that be. He's gonna explore towards the antelopes, so that could associate with a new command. Yeah, look at that. For instance, socialize is something we're gonna discover very soon, and also the antelope. So later on we could tell people who are close to antelopes to actually hunt for them. But at the moment we're doing the farming work, that is fine. What are you doing? Those guys are actually teenagers. They do not work at the moment. But I think he just grew up and he's gonna build a new building. What are you doing? Yeah, there we go. His own house. So we got another worker going on for us. And I think we're bringing the food up again, so that seems to be fine. Now very soon it's going to be time to actually migrate. Our city is going to be too overpopulated. We want to have a couple of these settlements going on for us. But we want to make sure that we are doing this carefully, because as I said, commandments are going to stick forever, even the commandments that tell people to migrate. Also, what I like about the game is these clouds. They actually change the fertility of the land. That's pretty cool. Ooh, look at that. A recommendation. People who are nearby farms should produce babies. I don't see why that's useful. I mean, people who have food produce babies seems to be good enough for me at the moment. One more thing I haven't shown you is the calendar right here. There's actually a calendar, and if something special occurs, you will be notified and you can click the button in order to see what the event is. And you will have to intervene in order to avoid it. I will say more to that once an event actually occurs. Okay, very good. We are doing absolutely awesome with the food. I would say we're gonna continue migrating at this point. Let's actually see. There's an association or an icon. Yeah, the overfed icon. This one I would like to develop very soon. But I think what we can do is pause the game very briefly. I want people from the savannah to migrate into the savannah. So we don't want to go towards the desert. I find those a little bit hard to maintain at the moment. But we're gonna start migrating towards the savannah. However, I want to add another condition right here. So right here, I want to specify this commandment. We want people from the savannah who have food to actually do that. So we are gonna lose a little bit of faith doing that. Wow, actually a lot. But I guess the faith builds up again over time. However, we specified this commandment. Only followers who have food and live in the savannah are now gonna migrate towards other savannas. Let's see if that is going to happen somewhere. Oh, an association has popped up. So people near farms produce babies. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Let's see where this association is. I guess maybe this one here. Yeah. So not people who have food produce babies, but people who live near farms produce babies. Well, I guess that's fine for the time being. It's not necessarily something I want. And I'm not sure what happens if you remove too many of these associations. So we're gonna leave that be for the time being, I guess. More babies is fine as well. Oh, we did have our first death here. Follower died of... What? We have a lot of food here. I'm not sure why this happened. Maybe this guy was actually exploring. But it's an interesting turn of events because this guy is actually gonna go to the underworld and he's gonna become a advisor. Okay, we got more baby production going on and you are farming. That's fine. Let's have a look at our foods. Wow, it's really good. The average age is also about right, I would say. Okay, soon enough we are gonna discover the antelope commandment, so that's gonna be interesting. We can then also hunt for food, which is gonna make it much easier. Also, what is this? A recommendation? People who at farms migrate to Havana? That doesn't make any sense. I don't want that as a commandment. Oh, they actually built a mine right here. That's interesting. So they're also gathering some metal, even though I don't have a commandment for that. But you know, I can't show myself to them. I can't prove them that I'm real. I can just do the commandment thing. But it's quite an interesting concept. I haven't seen that in another game. Not that I can recall. Okay, have we migrated yet? Sometimes there's a city popping up and I kind of miss it, but it doesn't look like. Ah, we got a new baby here. Wow, I never knew. Oh, our city is growing and growing and prospering. I really feel good about it. I just don't feel good about the not migration thing. And we just got another association. Though we already have that as a commandment, don't we? Yeah, we have this exact same thing. However, the association popped up somewhere. Let's actually see right there. Okay, well, that's fine. That's all right. But you can see, this is actually lowering the commandment's energy, and as soon as it's replenished, the commandment is gonna disappear. We also got another death right here. Follower died of old age. So this is the actual follower that is joining the underworld as an advisor. So let's click this button right here. Hello! So this is our first citizen that actually died, our first follower. Let's click this bubble. Did you know that eating plentiful of food is a great tradition? So that's what she associates with her life, I guess, and she's an advisor for this doctrine right here, this symbol. Anyways, we can also click this button right here, which is kind of a storyteller. I don't know. Praised be you, superior god of ritual. The people worship you. Here is actually what I've accomplished and done in my time. So for instance, the people started their journey. You wrote a commandment and one city listened to it. Then we got another commandment, another one, and then what happened here? One of your commandments was associated into something different. Etc, etc. You get the basic gist, and this was actually accessed through this button right here directly. So these are the advisors and right here the storyteller. Good, so are we doing the new city thing? Come on, let's have a look at our commandments. Something must unlock very soon. Yeah, the overfed, so that seems to be a good trait. So overfed people can migrate to different places, I would say. And you know, you could also do cruel things. For instance, young people, and then you take the destroy command and then old people. So the young people kill the old people. In order to avoid starvation, that might be something you need to do. So what I don't understand is that somebody is actually following this command, the migration command, but they are still not doing it. I mean, I don't see a city popping up at this point, but we just have to be patient with those guys. The average age is kind of raising at the moment. That's concerning. And we got another death in the joint. Old age, that's fine, that's to be expected. Okay guys, we got a couple of new icons in the joint. We got the antelope and the overfed icon. I think the first thing I want to do is followers in proximity of antelopes actually consume and hunt for antelopes. That seems to be a reasonable commandment. And also I want people to migrate finally. So maybe we could tell overfed people to first of all produce babies. I think that's a good commandment. If you have it well, you produce babies. So we're gonna add that commandment. And then I want overfed people also to migrate to savannas. Oh, we just got the happy icon. Oh, that's interesting. What do we want to do with the happy people? Nobody is following this migration command anymore, but they added their little version of it, so people close to farms migrate to savanna. Well, everyone interprets commandments differently, don't they? Let's add a commandment that tells followers living in the savanna to migrate to the savanna. However, we're gonna specify this commandment, and we're gonna tell that people who are overfed. Oh, I cannot add that. Oh, that is bad. Now I have a commandment that I potentially don't want. Because people going from savanna to savanna without any conditions might be bad. But let's see what happens. Maybe we can specify this commandment later on. Okay, we actually now got the doctrine that we follow. We seem to be profiteers, first and foremost, and after that the maintainers. You know what we could do? In order to specify this command, we could say people who live in the savanna and have babies. You know, then they first produce offspring and after that they migrate. That might be a good solution. Minus 20%, yeah. We will be gaining faith back over time, I guess. People who are near antelopes should produce food. Well, I guess that is a good association. Let's see, we got another advisor tip right there. Without food, a whole society will fail. Well, that was kind of redundant. We got a couple of commandments that are gonna disappear very soon. For instance, people in the savanna produce farms, and people who have food produce babies. So that's something we will have to keep in mind. It might create an imbalance if we don't have that anymore. Oh, we also got a new icon, I think. Yeah, look at that. Socialize. Okay, that's actually an interesting icon here. We could socialize. Okay, you know what we should do? We should integrate this socialize command somehow. We could start with the people who have food. You know, if they have nothing better to do, they could socialize. But we could also wait for the old people or the unhappy people. I mean, unhappy people could socialize and make themselves happier. But let's start with the food. Everyone who has food can produce socialize. Yeah, start socializing. Alright, we're gonna add that to the command list. Also, I just saw that one of those guys is actually hunting for an antelope. That is great. We still don't have any migration going on. Also, I wonder, does one of these biomes count as a jungle? Yeah, this actually counts as a jungle here. So at the moment we have no specifics for the jungle people. Oh, we just have a commandment that lost its energy or power, so it's disappeared. Let's add a commandment. If you are in the jungle, you should also produce food, obviously. This is the most basic one. And then, are we still producing babies somewhere? I don't think so. There's just one commandment for that at the moment. But as long as I still have guys lurking around here doing the baby making dance, I'm not too worried. Oh, look at that! We actually have another city that has popped up. That is absolutely amazing! And we also have ostriches nearby. Do we already have ostriches in our commands tablet? No, I don't think so, but we are going to unlock them eventually. This is pretty good, and since this is a savanna city, the same commandments can apply. You cannot give city-specific commandments actually, but now that we have a different city, we might be able to trade and exchange resources with them. Yeah, this guy is hunting an antelope. Let's actually watch that happen. Come on, catch up with it. You can do it. And come on. What? Yeah, there we go. Yes, gotcha. Oh, holy cow, we established a third city even, right there. Okay, we're gonna run into problems for sure, but as long as we're still hunting antelopes right there, I mean, we are decreasing the population here. Eventually, they're gonna disappear completely. Right, now the question is there a way to get more food? Should I potentially tell the jungle guys to also establish farms? What are the jungle guys doing at the moment? They're just collecting food in general, but they could also establish a farm. So jungle produce a farm. Yeah, there we go. Farm for food. That should help out. There we go. New commandment, guys. Follow it. Is the city doing well? Yeah, I think we went up with the food. We started with almost 0, and here we are slowly but surely running out. We got another advisor tip. Oh, we actually now got 2 advisors. There we go. So if we follow this guy's tip, then the lady is not going to be happy with us, apparently. You gain an advantage when you have an abundance of resources over people who don't have any. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe one city can have more resources and can be favored? What is she saying? Did you know that socialization is a tradition that was established years ago? Well, I guess it has been established for as long as there have been humans. Well, I guess at this point all we can do is observe a little bit and see how everything develops. As I said, I don't want to have too many commandments, and I already do have plenty of them, but they seem to like it. At least all of them have at least one follower. Now I want to have a quick look through the associations, because there could be something that doesn't make sense. For instance, followers in proximity of antelopes start socializing. I mean, what is that good for? I don't know. So what if we deleted this? Then we would lose 20 faith or so, but at least the association is gone. What? Followers in proximity of antelopes hunt animals and consume followers? What? In the savannah? What? Consume followers? Let's remove that. Let's remove that. That was a weird association. Then this one here is good. I mean, you know, migration in general is welcome. Do we already have a 4th city? I don't think so. No. Then we got people nearby antelopes produce food. That makes sense as well. Yeah, okay. We're doing fine with our commandments, I would say. Oh, look at that. We got a priest going on right here. What is she doing? We're spreading our views on our God's commandments. Ah, that's interesting. So, does not every village follow necessarily me? I'm not sure. Feels like they are all my people. I wonder, are we having enough babies? Is the question. This average age seems to rise a little bit. So maybe we can tell people who are happy to also produce babies. That could be a thing, right? Yeah, happy followers produce babies. We're gonna soon unlock the old people's tab, so maybe we can do something with them. During my time, having an abundance always gave us the advantage to trade at a more expensive price to those who needed it. This guy is a little sick bastard. However, he's not wrong. We might be able to trade very soon. I cannot wait until we have that option. Oh, we might have a problem right here. 7th period. These cities will starve by this period. Which cities? Cities that are hungry? I don't think I have any cities that are hungry at this point. Or maybe this already counts as hungry, but they do have all a little bit of food at least. Let's check out the advisors tab. Maybe they have something to say about this. I had a good life and social gatherings were one of the highlights. Alright, alright. Well, I'm not so sure. We will see. This is a good vantage point to, you know, see all of the cities and what's going on. Let's speed things up a little bit and observe what happens. I mean, at some point they also have to live their own life. Okay, we actually got something new in the joint. There were a lot of associations, but also we have the alliance icon right there. So that's interesting. Maybe people who have food, you know, people who are doing well, they should produce alliances. Let's add that as a commandment. Oh, look at that. 3 people are following that. I think they liked it. Now this guy, for instance, look at this guy. He's gonna make peace with the city over here, and so is this girl, and then we have this girl as well. Okay, she's arriving right here. What are you doing? Show me what you got. Make peace. And there we go. Are we at peace now? I'm not sure, but we will be seeing trade routes and everything popping up very soon. We got a 3rd advisor by now. Did you know that everything is better when you have more children? Okay, we can also go down that route. But I think we're doing a respectable job at producing children and surviving at this point. Well, look at all the association with this commandment. People who are overfed produce babies, they interpret this in 3 different ways. I mean, this is too broad. I don't want this command in there because only people who actually have the resources to have babies should have babies. Okay, by now we actually discovered the old people word. What could we do with the old people? I mean, we could say all people who are happy they can socialize, for instance, or they could gather metal, or they could destroy something. I really don't know what to do with the old people. Let's say old people are going to socialize as well. However, we're gonna add a condition to that. If you are old and also had a child, you know, you contributed to the next generation. No followers who have children are old. There you go. You first have to produce a child. Oh man, I just received 12 associations. Also, we lost this commandment and this guy. So I guess I actually want to re-add that. People nearby antelopes, they should consume antelopes. I found this was a very useful commandment. And then also people who are well fed. Let's see, are they producing babies? Not at the moment. People who have the food, they should produce babies. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we don't have many citizens left right here. What is this? We have 1 or 2 citizens in this village, but this village is thriving. And over here we also have a couple of people, so it just kind of shifted for some reason. I guess we had too many migrations. And also, happy people produce babies. I kind of found this was a good one. Should we re-add that? Happy people produce babies. Or maybe unhappy people, they should socialize, you know? That is gonna make them happier, and then the happy people are gonna produce babies. Also, we got young people added to the joint. That might prove useful. Let's see, did we lose another commandment? Yeah, this guy, we saw that. I think we're doing fine. Oh, check this out, we got a new icon in the joint. The trade. Oh, that is perfect. So people who have a lot of food, they should produce trade with others. Yes, add that as a commandment. Let's see that happen. But there we go. We now are going to establish trade routes. Check this out. He's actually already coming along. Is this the trader? Negotiating trade agreements. Yes, indeed. So now we can see that there is actually a trade agreement going on between these 2 cities. Oh no, this city actually starved out. I totally missed that here in the cycle because we were low on food, it starved out. But that's fine, we can re-establish this city very soon. As long as we still have thriving towns, it's alright. So we will have to establish another trade agreement. Are we still producing babies? Just the happy people and the people who have food, that is good enough. We're producing food in the jungle, and are we producing food in the savannah? Yes, but nobody is following this. So yeah, I'm going to end this video very soon. I just want to see if they are going to re-establish this city, but I think I was able to give you a very good impression on what this game is about and what it has in store for you. And of course, don't forget, this is a very early alpha access. It has been in development for quite some time now, so hopefully we will be seeing a lot more updates in the future. And oh, I just see we are actually failing horribly. Holy cow, what happened? Did we lose commandments? I don't think so. But what are you guys doing? They weren't following my orders properly, I assume. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, we are down to 4 people again. This is crazy. You guys need to produce more babies. Well, I guess I wasn't considerate enough, actually. I didn't observe very well the past few minutes. But in the 6th period, it seems as though we are going to starve out. So maybe we are gonna see the end of this tribe. Well, at least I made it to cycle 2 for this video. Let's actually see. Are you exploring? Yeah, but we need to migrate. Is somebody migrating? Let's see. We need some migration in the joint. No, all of the migration has gone. And of course we need that. So if you have food, you shall migrate. Let's add that as a condition. Migrate to savannah. We can do this. Somebody is already doing it. Yeah, we can see this guy right here. He is going with a child. Is this a child on his back? I think so, but he's going to re-establish this town here so that we can continue existing. Alright, come on, establish the town. Beautiful. What do you want? You want savannah, produce, socialize. No, first you produce food and babies. After that we can talk about socializing. Okay guys, we re-established the city as you can see, and also the trade route seems to be in existence. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but hopefully they are gonna share their resources with each other so that nobody has to starve anymore. Oh, I just see, the current global faith isn't too high at this point. I don't know why they doubt me. I'm doing whatever I can, man. But this city here might be starving out, actually. Holy cow. No, we got some food back. That is fine. That is absolutely great. Okay, yeah, we're gonna finish off the second cycle and then we're gonna wrap up the episode. I think that was a good start. We might be struggling further down the line. I mean, it won't get easier necessarily. And as we just saw, this city here starved out. I wondered what happened with the people. They basically just died. But yeah, that is too unfortunate. We weren't able to establish, you know, a thriving civilization, but maybe you can do better yourself. So with that out of the way, I would say we're gonna wrap it up right at this point. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.